Okay, Tracy, the floor is yours.
All right. Good morning, members of the MAG Technical Advisory Group. This meeting is now called to order. For those around the table, please turn on your microphone when speaking. For those participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. The MAG public comment process allows members of the public to comment on items and today's agenda or on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction. If you would like to comment at today's meeting, please fill out a request to speak card located in the room and give it to MAG staff. I'd like to welcome two new members to the committee, Jared Morris from Tempe and Faraz. Oh, I knew I was going to butcher it already. Murcia.
Yes.
Okay. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call of all members.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Tom Bacon,
Present.
Mike Chickarone, Kim Clark, Chris Dalmolin,
Present.
Justin Fair, Robert Fisher,
Present.
Steve Holiday, Jim Keane, Faraz Mashia.
Present.
We have Tracy Mills,
Here.
Jared Morris,
Present.
Phil Oslin, Greg Pataz, Sassan Paridazadi, Jeff Sheets, and Steve Hambrick. Steve, do we have you on? Steve Holiday. Okay, hold on one second. Steve has not responded. We do have a Jim Keane, are you on? Yeah, we're not hearing you, Jim, if you are speaking. Okay, we have Steve Holiday and Jim Keane on, Tracy, but they're not responding. So officially, we don't have a quorum at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop Steve a message right now.
Does anybody have a way to reach them or text them?
I'm
Or...
gonna drop them both an email right now.
Okay.
Two, three. Let's see, it's so short. Have I missed anybody? Yeah, Steve can.
I feel like you have a couple people on that you didn't call.
No, we have Tom, we have Steve.
Somebody's connecting.
Steve, can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Good morning, Jeff. Can you hear us okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Okay, so that does give us our quorum. We have not heard from Jeff.
Our next item is call to the audience. This is the opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda or that are on the agenda for discussion and not for action. 15 minutes will be provided for the call to the audience unless the chair requests an exception to this limit. I've received 0 request to speak cards for the call to the audience. Just confirming, nothing since we last spoke, correct? Okay. MAG also provides the opportunity for members of the MAG, members of the public to submit written comments via the MAG website. Any comments received 2 hours prior to the meeting have been shared with committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration and will be included in the formal meeting minutes. Craig, have we received any online written comments for the call to the audience?
We have not received any comments for this item or any other item on the agenda.
Thank you. All right, so item number 3 is approval of the May 18th, 2023 meeting minutes. Could I have a motion to recommend approval of the May 18th, 2023 minutes?
This is Tom. I move to recommend approval of the May 18, 2023 minutes.
Excellent. We have a motion from Tom Bacon. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a second. Can I have a voice vote for those in the room and those online? Those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, staff, can we take a roll call of the members participating virtually who did not turn on their camera?
All right, we'll just go through the list real fast. Tom Bacon,
Aye.
Mike Chicharone, Kim Clark, Chris Dalmolin,
Aye.
Justin Fair, Robert Fisher,
Aye.
Steve Holiday, Jim Keen, Faraz Mashia,
Aye.
Tracy Mills,
Aye.
Jared Morris,
Aye.
Phil Oslin, Greg Plataz, Sasim Parida Zadi, Jeff Sheets,
Aye.
Steen Hambrecht. Okay, and that motion was approved.
Right, so we're rolling on to item number 4, connective discussion. Harry, I don't want to butcher your last name. Is it Meyer?
Meyer.
Meyer. Okay, we'll provide an update on the Connective Smart Region Consortium. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Harry Meyer. I'm the Deputy CIO for City of Mesa for Innovation and Smart Cities. So I'd like to give everyone an update on the Connective Smart Region Consortium. I know a number of you in the room are members of the Connective and are familiar with their goings on, but it's been an evolution in a number of years since the Connective got a start, and its integration with MAG in general has varied through the years. I think Amy St. Peter is still on the Connective Executive Council, as well as some other representatives from MAG. I believe Audrey also attends regularly. And we're working on a number of projects across the valley that is of interest in technology, of course, being a focus on smart cities, that I think you all would be worthwhile having a discussion around the cooperation between the members of MAGTAG and the Connective, since we are already, like I said, many of us in the room are already in that Connective room as well. There's a lot of overlap between some of the efforts and missions between MAG and the Connective. So with that, I'd like to share a brief PowerPoint. Good.
You do have share co-host permissions, Harry, so you should be.
Thank you. Let's see if that will come up. You all see that?
Not yet.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. Okay. There we go.
Okay, we're good. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you. So the Connective Smart Region Consortium, our kind of mission statement almost is that collaboration is the next competitive advantage. The origins of the Connective really go back to 5-6 years ago when smart cities was really a buzzword getting itself going amongst us all. And we started to meet and confer across jurisdictions here in the Valley to discuss the possibilities of just not reinventing the wheel with all of these different smart city technologies that are out there. And I'll save you the YouTube video since we're on Zoom already, but hopefully I can just skip over that without playing. No, I cannot. Is that playing okay with everyone?
It just started.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not sharing sound, Harry.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. So I was.
It's skipping a lot of frames as well.
Yeah, I can skip over that frame with the PowerPoint here. Let me try to jump forward. There we go. So the goal here is to take this shared vision of the working in smart cities across the Valley in the greater Phoenix region, and taking that to a level where we get these synergies across the Valley of doing efforts that that service all of our residents. We often say in these meetings that people living in one community, working in another, traveling between, visiting a third, a lot of times they don't even know which municipality they're physically in right now. And a lot of the relationships that go into smart city technology are transferable across those jurisdictions, and it really behooves us all to share this, share learnings, share the benefits of the various projects that we all undertake in the realm of smart cities and innovation. So who we are, the Connective is currently run out of PEI, the Partnership for Economic Innovation, but the partnerships spread both with these regional bodies, including MAG, ASU, GPEC, and Maricopa Community Colleges, the actual municipalities, and even some private industry partners, to have this forum where we can go across these lines, both municipal lines and regional lines and public-private lines, to speak to what the possibilities are around smart cities at a regional scale. So the basic structure of it is it's a 501c3 nonprofit. We have an executive committee that meets monthly now, that gets into the details of what the Connective will be tackling. We have a leadership council of all of the member cities and entities that meets as projects are needed to determine the way forward for a number of projects. And we also have the industry advisory side that makes up the private sector side of the body. And of course, you'll recognize a lot of the resources that are present in the Valley, the tools and the places and the people involved in all of these things that we generally call smart cities, that are at our fingertips here in the greater Phoenix area and the county at large. That we can bring together to get a lot more done than we would individually as individual municipalities. And again, MAG is also one of those examples. Some of the strategic priorities that the Connective has identified that we're looking into finding solutions in the smart cities realm to assist with. Number one being circular economy, really the sustainability of recycling in the valley. A number of years ago, even pre-pandemic, there were a lot of issues in recycling. There was a fire at a facility in Mesa that all but made the recycling disappear in my city, and a number of us all had challenges in that space as well, with China stopping their import of recycled materials. It really changed the economy of recycling and what to do about that. So the search for sustainable models to reduce the footprint of our solid waste is one of the items that we're continually looking for. Digital equity, there's been a number of efforts, especially since the pandemic, to address the needs of the residents that have fallen through the safety net of being able to get access to the internet and be able to use that service when they have it. So there's been efforts across the valley and new nonprofit entities set up in partnership with the Connective to help address those concerns. In public safety, there's several now real-time crime centers and other public safety efforts that are have that technology side to it that are addressed in as Connective projects. In transportation and mobility, several of those, especially in partnership with MAG, around autonomous vehicle mobility and traffic preemption, have been high on our priorities as well. And then general innovation in government, our various data portals and the use of informed decision making or using data and efficacy around governance is really also a smart city effort. So it's kind of rehashing where some of these things are and where we have current projects underway across the valley. I won't get into all the details, but these are many partnerships in the various examples that I just gave. I'll give access to this slide deck so you can get into more detail offline. But with that, the Connective, for any of those who are on the call who are not familiar, here's the links, the website, and you can contact through MAG or through myself, or just connecting online through these online resources to get involved, because we all have the need to leverage technology to address these regional concerns. And if your municipality is looking at it, there's probably somebody else in the valley or beyond who has also looked at it, and it behooves us all to collaborate there. So with that, let's stop sharing and go to the discussion portion of this, which is how we in MAGTAG can work together with the connective to have, have these common goals and have that interaction between the bodies and further these projects. A number of the projects even have the MAG label on them, but I don't know that we've specifically engaged with the MAG tag before. So with that, open to comments.
Thank you, Harry. I do like that you've showed some examples of use, because that's been like, I've really struggled to wrap my head around this thing. Our police chief has been very interested in real-time crime center technology. As we look to replace our CAD RMS system, we will be looking for camera integrations and things like that. So I will be interested to hear more about the public safety slides that, or if anybody else is interested or going to do something in that realm, and how maybe the connective could help us with that. What my other question is, what's the process to ask for a project?
Well, the process right now is really group commentary, where we come to consensus on that across the valley, to say comments like the one you just made, that we all hear within our municipalities what is the needs today. Public safety is always high on the priority list, but when it comes to, well, what are the possible technological assistance or solutions to those challenges, that's where we kind of put our heads together, and bringing that forward, the executive committee then will help prioritize what the project should be. And in some cases it's opportunistic. It's what do cities have high enough priority to really tackle right now, and where can we put those priorities?
Also, speaking of priorities, is there has there been a point of too many projects and things are having to wait, or are you still in a bring it on mode?
I think we are a little of both. There are things that are high on the priority list that don't have really clear solutions right now, or in kind of a waiting game. Autonomous vehicles, for example, we see Waymo and Cruise and other entities driving around. MAG has, through a grant program, worked with a few of us on doing some smaller scale autonomous shuttles, but we're waiting on NHTSA approval for some vehicles to be able to travel on city streets, and that's just taking time, and so that's kind of on the back burner at the moment. Other things like the real-time crime centers, those popped up organically, and we just jumped up to the top of the priority list because they became really high priorities during the pandemic, and so several of us were standing them up and collaborating on those as well. So it does vary, but the nature of that forum lends itself to being able to shift those priorities as things come along and as opportunities arise.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from membership?
Hi, this is Feroz. I do have a question. So would you please elaborate? So once there is a consensus, what happens? What is that process? How does a project from an idea to sort of an approved initiative gets into an execution mode?
Mhm.
How does that play out?
We'll convene which municipalities or groups are interested in that project. Pool resources, really do an assessment of what's in the realm of possible and what the cities and other entities are looking to do. In some cases, it's for example, the digital twins. It was a technology that is kind of bubbling around. It's a bit of a buzzword at the moment. That several of us were interested in, but nobody really had their head around what exactly it was or could do. So the Connective pulled together a workshop and invited across the valley and beyond people to get together and kind of get all of our heads together around what that technology means, what it could do for us, and really got the wheels turning. And that, in some cases, that's the first step, is getting that idea of what the project would entail. For the autonomous vehicle example I gave, it was the Connective representatives there are some staff that worked with the Connective full time, will work to do that outreach for us to the industry, and make those connections to bring it in and convene meetings within the municipalities who are interested, to kick off that project there. The Connective really doesn't so much like fund and create projects as they facilitate them. The individual entities that are part of the Connective will be doing the projects either individually or via intergovernmental agreement, but that collaboration and the space to have those conversations and do more than what a single city or a town or a school can do is really where the advantages of the Connective shine. I don't know, did that answer your question?
Yes and no, because I have
Sure.
to follow up questions. But for now, this is a good orientation. We can pick back up at a later time.
Are there any other questions? Well, thank you, Harry. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion only. We appreciate your time and your presentation. It's great information.
Thank you.
So next up, agenda item number 5, Regional Community Network Update. Ryan Gish of MAG will provide an update on the Regional Community Network.
Thank you, Tracy, or thank you, Chair and members of the committee. I have a few updates related to the Regional Community Network, or RCN. I know there's a few of you that look like new players to some of this. So if I ever need a secondary or backup to come in and talk more about the RCN, I'd be happy to do that. But we also, aside from the RCN, we also help manage our regional fiber upgrade projects throughout the valley. But jumping back to the RCN, over the next few months, we're going to be performing some hardware upgrades to the core and also distribution layer switches. Imagine downtime about 30 minutes to maybe an hour max. And I'll be coordinating any of those upgrades with any of the local agency contact. It's usually on the transportation side. There's also some of you folks that have them in your IT server rooms. So we'll be reaching out with those over the next few months here. Jumping over to the expansion of the RCN, we've been working with Buckeye's IT department and also their transportation department to get a fiber connection in from Goodyear and also ADOT. This is kind of more on the expansion side, which is good that we kind of get some. I mean, once you get everybody expanded out, there's really not much further you can go. But this one is nice because it's pretty far out on the West Valley. This connection was made possible due to a recent ADOT construction project along I-10. So we're going to be popping in over off of, I think, like I-10 and Miller, and we'll be jumping into their connection there, and they'll be bringing us down to their PD and also to the transportation department. So this will be really nice for them because it kind of gives them eyes on the freeway and also to the neighboring agency like Goodyear to see how traffic's moving along on their side. So they'll be able to share some cameras back and forth. And also they're looking at doing some disaster recovery backups. And also the big buzzword has been the RTCC. So a lot of the agencies are hoping to share across the RCN and use the for their RTCC application. So, and then we'll jump into the, as part of the regional fiber upgrade project, there's been a few tasks completed and we also have a few coming up. Earlier this year, actually pretty early this year, we had finished out at Queen Creek to Mesa project. That was along Ellsworth Road, and that's about 2 miles of fiber. That was previously a wireless connection, and with wireless, it kind of sometimes isn't as reliable. In this case, we're able to swap it out and use some fiber. So we're continuing to work with both sides there to kind of get that connection going. Fiber splice, everything else is done, but just trying to get some of the last minute or last little bit pieces of equipment hooked up and going. So that was a pretty big one to get up and running. We also completed a project up in Surprise with ADOT along Loop 303 in Grand, which allowed the traffic guys to be able to get communications up or get a wireless antenna up at Loop 303 in Grand to then reach out to, I think there's a neighborhood just north of that. That was pretty key at getting to. So I was working with the traffic folks on that one. We also completed a project with City of Phoenix. That was along 19th Avenue up near 101. That's about 3.5 miles of fiber. That was to help with a lot of their connections up to the Deer Valley Airport, and also to help out with ADOT and McDOT have a secondary connection along that path. So again, a lot of key projects. The best part is that we're able to use some of the previously purchased fiber we did a few years back when we were kind of waiting like almost 8 months to a year to get fiber. So we're finally getting some use out of this fiber that we purchased in the past. So it's great use. We did also make a small purchase of some branch cable. So instead of the typical 144 or 288, this was a 24 count fiber that we can use for some of the little small branches. And then aside from that, some of the upcoming projects we have this year, we're working with Apache Junction and a little bit of Mesa there too. Along Ironwood, we're hoping to get a main branch down from their new cores that they have at the water treatment centers and bring those down south to maybe the 24 down there. But this will also give us a chance to branch in Mesa, which is along Elliott and Ironwood, and that'll give us a direct fiber connection instead of the previously used wireless connection. So that'll be a nice one to get tied in. And then also we have a small little upgrade project with Tempe along Elliott and I-10. So that completes my updates for that. If anybody has any questions, or if you guys ever need me to come back and talk more about this, I'd be happy to do so. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Ryan. Are there any other questions from membership? Hearing none, this item is on the agenda for information and discussion only. So next we have Audrey Skidmore of MAGS going to provide an update of the 911 study committee.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. And I'm counting on that. If you think I've missed anything, you'll weigh in. So the 911 study committee continues to meet. At the meeting before last, they had narrowed in on 3 of the 7 options provided by the consultant. At the last meeting, they further narrowed that down to 2. So they are currently focused on either the option, what they call option 7, which is moved to the state system, and what they're calling a modified option 4. This was originally keeping the Maricopa region 911 system and having it having consolidation to reduce the number of PSAPs. What we're actually looking at now is more a separate managed service contract to provide better service level agreements than are provided under the state system. And and also some direct control of the contract and of the vendors. So both those options are currently being explored. We've been having discussions with ADOA about how those would look and how that might proceed. Those are ongoing. They're very productive. And so we will be having a study committee meeting October 4th to kind of regroup about where we are with those options and the discovery we've done on those as we continue to move forward. At the same time, we are still focused on working with the state to release the project that was put on hold to complete the next gen 911 network cutover that was partway through with MR 911. We're seeing some progress there, so we think that's going to get possibly released. And there are a number of other issues that are also going to be looked at by the study committee moving forward, including funding source, creation of some sort of funding formula, a look at how the governance would change and what would be ideal for however the new system looks. And Nathan, did I miss anything?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, Ms. Skidmore. No, I think that about covers it. Study committee has been working for almost a year now, as Ms. Skidmore pointed out, utilizing federal engineering to identify potential options and paths forward, conversations with ADOA in terms of what it would mean for this region to pursue the state's vendor for 911 services. To Ms. Skidmore's point, those are ongoing and could reveal, how do we build in certainty in terms of service level agreements, redundancy issues. So those conversations are ongoing. We look forward to, after the study committee meets on October 4, the following week, providing an update to the MAG Management Committee. So this will be a good check-in with managers on the path that we're on currently. So looking forward to that. So a lot going on. Our oversight team continues to meet. Our public safety answering point managers continue to meet at MAG. So keeping them up to date on the work of the study committee. Hopefully the study committee's work will be wrapping up here in the coming months with a recommendation, and that's really contingent on some of these ongoing conversations with ADOA. So that's a long way of just repeating what Ms. Skidmore just said, but just verifying what she said. And thanks for the opportunity for an update.
And I would just remind the committee that, the chair of this committee serves on the study committee. And so that's to keep the IT folks in touch with what's going on and give them an opportunity to have feedback into the process. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, well, it looks like hearing none. Thank you, Audrey and Nathan, for the update. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion only. So we're on to our last item, agency updates. Committee members can discuss current agency projects that may be of a regional interest to the committee. Does anybody have any updates they'd like to share? Don't be shy.
Chair, member of the committee, I wasn't prepared, but I do have a small update I can share. Unfortunately, I don't have a presentation ready at the moment, but I can briefly describe what it is and why it may be of use to others. I joined City of Glendale about 3 years ago, and one of my commitment to the city leadership and the mayor and the council was to develop a data platform that can be used throughout the city. And it was based on few basic principles. One was that you want to build a data platform that is open from an architecture point of view and has the ability to scale as the need grows and people understand how it can be utilized and helped. But we didn't want to start boiling the ocean, so we had a fairly defined use cases that we wanted to undertake and make sure that we deliver those correctly, and underneath have a stable architecture that would support that. So we embarked on this journey. There were 3 use cases that we were looking at. 2 were related to finance, third one was related to GIS. And as we were developing this, the other big consideration in our architecture was the data governance. So everybody talks about data is important, data analytics is important, data is new oil. All those claims are correct and appropriate. The challenge becomes, how do you do that? How do you manage that? You can stand up a independent governance function, but you need to bring in technology to create that automation and efficiency that is needed, and then leverage that automation both in terms of creation of data or information and consumption of data and information. So our design of the architecture was such that it accounted for all those things. And we leverage some of the leading technologies to build that. We are, thankfully, we've successfully completed the architecture. Our first use case was council report that gets produced. Just to give you a perspective of what this solution has done, and maybe in a later session, I can bring in more detail so you can visually see what the capabilities are being deployed. The council report previously would take about 3 hours on a good day, with 40 Excel tabs on a large spreadsheet that needed to be manually managed and handled, simply because data was coming from multiple sources, the current ERP system, the archive system, and a whole bunch of other sources that would constitute that report. And we took that 3-hour journey and trimmed it down to less than 30 minutes now. And that is if you have to do certain validation. Now you have the ability to schedule it and push that report and dashboard out to all the consumers. So we maintain the access control around it. So depending on who you are, you get to see the view of that report based on your context and your use. So all that automation, all that data validation, all of those things were done. The icing on the cake is underneath that is a live active data governance function. So if I present to you that report and you want to look at a specific column and a row and a data within that presentation, and you want to know where that information is coming from, we would be able to dynamically show you where that data was created, what system, where it's coming from. So you can essentially show the entire data lineage, the life cycle of information. So what you are doing is you're producing a certified report. Now, the data accuracy and quality issue remain because they need to be addressed at the source level where the data is created. But it gives you a direct view into where the anomalies are and how you address those. That in a nutshell what our first use case is doing. The second use case was revamp the follow your money report and apply the same kind of architecture and principles. So that's underway. More interesting one was the geospatial data and the governance of it. So when I joined, that function was kind of diffused across multiple different departments. Still was part of IT, but there were a bunch of folks and working on GIS data, creating that information. There were no standards and there was no mechanism to govern that. So the partner we worked with, I think we're the first city, along with some federal agency, were looking to develop that GIS data governance. And we were able to do some of those things, and we will be able to showcase that. And the way we are leveraging it, again, that platform allows us to bring all that geospatial data, make sure that the validity and the veracity of data and the consistency, and run any kind of dashboards and analytics that you want to run on top of it. So as opposed to running directly off of your Esri operational database, you can run it through this. It allows us to do a few interesting things, such as we talked about public safety. So Glendale was running, the CAD RMS was Hexagon, and we moved from Hexagon to Motorola. The OLTP side, the transactional system side, gives us 30-day rolling data to report on it. So if I called and said there was a commotion in my neighborhood, could you send somebody over? They'll look up that information and provide the citizen the answer to their question. Now that information is on a 30-day roll. But would it be interesting, we asked ourselves this question, if I have historical data for an entire year? Now I can do an interesting slicing and dicing. So we're bringing that data into our modern data platform. So we can not only run the current analytics on top of it, but we can do all kinds of historical trending. So it gives you an immense power in terms of looking and predicting things that needed to be looked at, both from delivering public safety services and from a planning point of view and remediation of lingering problems and things of that nature that requires a historical context. So those are the three use cases. They're all kind of close to completion. We are due to make that presentation to our mayor and the council. We're happy to do that, so I can show you a live presentation of what it looks like. So it's one thing to hear me talk about it. It's another thing to experience it. And that's the architecture and the model. The tools and technology can be various different combinations. You can pick and choose depending on what exists in your ecosystem or what you are interested in. But in terms of the architecture, the approach, certainly something that others can leverage and benefit from.
Thank you for sharing. That's excellent. Awesome.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the call have anything, any updates they want to share?
Tracy, I had to jump on. Tracy, I believe you had Jared had his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jared?
Ready to go. So 2 quick ones from the city of Tempe, and thank you all. I'm happy to be part of the group here. So as a first item, so City Council in Tempe approved the first AI evaluation policy in the state of Arizona, with a commitment to both evaluate any AI that city uses, as well as to make that information public. Of course, City of Tempe is happy to make this policy available to any interested MAG members and have a separate conversation about it. The second item, no less exciting for the city. City of Tempe is investigating a first in Arizona municipal fiber network with access to our residents and businesses as well, not just an internal network, but one where we would provide access to the premise. Of course, again, Tempe welcomes any MAG members who would like to participate in a review of responses starting on October 10th. So any interested MAG members, feel free to contact me. We'll make sure we're able to review the 2 responses we received to that. Thank you.
I can't wait to hear more about that one. I was hoping you would talk about it, or maybe at a later time come back and do a presentation about your efforts. That would be
Absolutely
awesome. Did I miss anybody else?
Tracy, this is Craig. I just wanted to check. Alan, did I see you jump on?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, fantastic. I just want to make sure I got you down for the quorum. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Steve, were you ever able to unmute? All right. Thank you, Tracy.
All right. So this item is on the agenda for information and discussion only. So we're gonna wrap this up. Date for future meetings. The next technology advisory group will be on Thursday, November 16th at 10. I think that's supposed to say 10 a.m. With no further business, today's meeting is adjourned.
It's going to be 10 p.m.
No. I put my foot down. So I think, do we have to have a motion or anything to adjourn? All right. We'll see you guys in November, if not sooner, for some other committee, right? Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you.